Welcome back inside Normal West in Normal, Illinois, getting you set for game number 4 of 5 at the Midwest Crossroads Shootout. It's the 24-2 Sacred Heart Griffin Cyclones taking on the hosts, Normal West Wildcats. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Alongside Gavin Russell, it's Larry Larson in with you. And Gavin, this is an enticing matchup, a great Sacred Heart Griffin program that hasn't lost since November, taking on the host program. It could be a good one.
That is a long, long streak, Larry, and they have played in some competitive games, so it's not like they've had easy competition either. Sacred Heart Griffin is a really, really good team, and they're quite young as well. They only have a couple of seniors on their roster, so look out in the Springfield area in Central Illinois. Sacred Heart Griffin is going to come to play, but Normal West on home court. Definitely want to defend it here today.
Starting lineups being introduced right now. Let's get them to you, starting with the visiting Cyclones. They're in their traveling dark. I want to say those are black, but also their school colors are purple, so it could be a sort of shade of dark purple, but we're going to go black and gold. Sacred Heart Griffin sporting the black and gold. They'll start with Javion Bardwell, a 5'10 junior. Jake Hamilton, a 6'3 junior. Ty Lott, the varsity quarterback. Now a varsity basketball starter. Can be a force on the floor, 6'2 junior. And it's rounded out by Zach Hawkinson, a 6'5 junior. So all juniors in the starting lineup. Also, we missed one for the Cyclones. It's rounded out by Keyshawn Singleton, who we've seen put on a show before down at the State Farm Holiday Classic right here in Bloomington Normal. Those are the Cyclones. These are the Wildcats. It starts with Jono Edmondson. Isaac Demosthenes also gets the starting nod. Max Zebarth, followed by Jordan Cherry, as well as Gavin Camp. Set for basketball, and we're underway. The host Wildcats win the tip. They will operate from right to left as we get started. Gavin, keys to the game for both sides here. Normal West is the bigger team, but we know both teams like to shoot.
Well, I think more of it's going to come down to energy and momentum in this game. I think if Normal West can get out and spark an early lead, that might be enough for them to hold off Sacred Heart Griffin. But as you see here, Sacred Heart Griffin, a very good team.
A steal and a lob up. Zach Hawkinson can't come down with it. And the teardropper is off from Jake Hamilton. Cleans up his own mess, kicks it back out to Javion Bardwell. Singleton to the left. Over to Hawkinson again. They feed to the post to Hamilton, and his fader is off. Rebound into the hands of Jordan Cherry. Gavin, last week we were here at Normal West to watch the Wildcats battle Normal Community, who we just watched dispatch, to put it one way, Oswego, and an absolute blowout. But Normal West, despite their 11-13 record, stuck with Community for most of that game until the fourth quarter. So the Wildcats can play with the best of the best.
Normal West, I mean, again, they have an 11-13 record, but that's a little misleading. They are a very gritty team, and, they got a lot of guys that play hard and fast.
Injury timeout as Max Zebarth collided with a Cyclone. They're going to call out the trainer to get a look. Gavin, I didn't notice what happened, but good to see Zach Hawkinson up and off the court under his own power. It might have been one of those things where you kind of bump your knee into someone else's leg and hit it in the wrong spot. Didn't look like anything too serious.
I think it was just maybe a screen there from Zebarth. They collided and maybe rolled the ankle, stepped on his foot or something, but looks like he might be able to walk it off and hopefully get back into this game soon.
So an early blow for the Cyclones, who enter this one with a record of 24-2. We mentioned just 2 losses for the Cyclones. They were the first 2 games of the season for Sacred Heart Griffin. Hamilton called for the travel there. They lost to Champaign Centennial, and then they lost to Belleville West to open the season, and they haven't lost since. Really an incredible run for the Cyclones.
Very good. And again, they've played in some fierce competition. You know, they've played with the best of the best. Not had an easy schedule, so that's a very, very impressive win streak that they're on right now, and I think it's really showing they're going to be a threat come March.
Gavin Camp inbounds to Max Zebarth. Right on the football field as well as the basketball court. Camp drives, kicks back out. Jordan Cherry over to Camp. Kicks to Demosthenes. Now back to Camp. Good ball movement for the Wildcats. Even better defense for the Cyclones. And Zebarth is called for the charge. A defensive struggle here early.
Yeah, the defense has been really, really good for both of these teams. I think offensively both teams are doing a good job moving the ball around. They're being patient, but there's really hasn't been any good open looks for shots. Defense has been great.
Ty Lott sent away on the inside. Wildcats with another opportunity to strike first. Edmondson back out to Zebarth. Demosthenes. Deep three from Camp goes down to start the scoring.
Something had to break the seal, Larry, and that is a great way to start the game. You're playing well on defense. Now you break the seal and you take a 3-0 lead early on.
Javion Bardwell and the Cyclones searching for a response. Jake Hamilton gets to the rack, can't finish. Second chance, no. From Cal Johnson. Another try for Hamilton, in and out.
Oh, so close on a couple of these tough shots, but well contested.
Finish inside. Not to be for Jordan Cherry, but he's fouled, and he'll go to the line.
I didn't expect such a defensive battle, Larry. I thought we'd have a little more offense up to this point, but again, both these teams very fundamentally sound. They are really well coached, so they're going to play well on defense. And, of course, Normal West breaking the seal first. See if Sacred Heart Griffin, a very talented team on offense too, can respond.
Cherry knocks in the first. And comes up short on the second, gets his own rebound, but can't finish. Second chance opportunity. The runner halfway down and out, and back in for Singleton to start the scoring for Sacred Heart Griffin.
Looks like Sacred Heart Griffin might be trying to change the tempo of this game. As they get their first bucket there. Fast and furious might be their offensive game plan.
Gavin Camp kicks over to Logan Slunder. Normal West has a pretty deep bench. Larger roster than the Cyclones. Deep three. Missed by Slunder. Put back. Almost. An and one for Demosthenes. But instead, the senior will go to the strike.
A couple of offensive boards early on for Normal West. Those extra possessions are huge. A little surprised Sacred Heart Griffin struggling to grab some of these boards. But Normal West a chance to capitalize. Can't make the free throws, and that's important too. You know, offensive rebounds are good, but can you capitalize on the opportunities and put points up on the board?
And especially against a good Sacred Heart Griffin team. Normal West, you got to capitalize on those opportunities, and Demosthenes goes 0 for 2. Rebound goes to Bardwell. Richard Jackson was open on the wing, passed up a three. Bardwell showing off the handles, gets inside. Ty Lott over the corner. Three goes down for Bardwell.
There you go, a good offensive possession for SHG. It's their first really solid look of the game. Buries at home, gets them in front.
Cyclones with their first lead of the contest. Quick trigger three from Jamarcus Webb is off. The charge ahead and the finger roll is off, but the putback is there for Ty Lott.
SHG is starting to feel it. Took them a couple minutes to get settled in, but they're here to play.
Turnover for the Wildcats as Couples gave it away. Bardwell slows it down. Jackson into the corner to Lott. Into the post for Johnson. And it's a traveling call. Takes us to our mask timeout. Sacred Heart Griffin recovering from a slow start to take a 3-point lead. Want to take this break to give a shout out to all our great sponsors here at the Midwest Crossroads Shootout. Rotating on your screen there. Helping make this event possible. A lot of good teams in the house today at Normal West. This is our penultimate game of the day, and of course the nightcap, Peoria Notre Dame and Yorkville Christian, two state-ranked schools. Yorkville Christian top-ranked in Class 1A. Peoria Notre Dame ranked in Class 3A. So a lot of good competition here today, Gavin. Last game we saw an absolute blowout. That's not to say it was necessarily a bad showing, because Normal Community put on a show.
Well, Normal Community is very good. I think they've been looking for a bit of a response. I mean, they did play a very good team last night in Peoria Manual, but maybe a little closer than they would have liked. I think it was an 8-point victory. So maybe coming out trying to put a little statement tonight, and they certainly did that. They're a team that's going to be really fun to watch going forward, not just this year, but next as well. They're one of the best in Central Illinois, and for good reason.
Normal West's battling to get back to 500. They're 4-4 in the Big 12 Conference this year, and they've had their fair share of ups and downs. I remember we talked to Ed Hafferman, Wildcats head coach, last week before their game against Community, and he said that's been a little up and down for West this year, but they definitely have the talent to hang with the best of them. And a bit of an offensive rut. We'll see what they can do out of the mask timeout. Webb over to Logan Slunder. Picked up by Bardwell. And it's another turnover. Here come the Cyclones. The lob ahead to Singleton, off balance. Couldn't get the layup to go with his back to the bucket. And it's out off of SHG.
I didn't have a great angle at that just from our vantage point, Larry, but SHG wanted a foul call on the layup. Can't quite tell. Kind of a bang-bang play either way. It's going back to Normal West.
Slunder cuts to the basket and has his pass batted and kept in bounds. Good play by the Cyclones. Jackson in transition. Hits Bardwell. He's double-teamed in the zone. And now directs traffic. Under the 2-minute mark of the opening quarter. And a defensive battle early on. Nasty move from Singleton. The fader goes down. Shades of Larry Bird from Keyshawn Singleton in the mid-range. Zebarth on the other end. Can't finish through contact. Here comes Singleton again. Dishes to an open Jackson. Now Lott is wide open. He's short. Rebound to Kylan Smith. Good ball movement for the Wildcats, and Zebarth's triple is buried.
That's a good shot right there. Moving up the floor fairly quickly. Found an open shot. Zebarth nails it.
The drive inside, and a foul call as Bardwell tried to drive through contact. Almost got that one to go, really off the highest part of the glass, but instead he'll have to earn his 2 at the free throw line.
Normal West has already left a couple points on the board, off the board rather, at the free throw line, so SHG definitely needs to capitalize. These missed free throws definitely going to sting you later in the game.
And the second free throw rattles home, so Bardwell goes 1 for 2. And it's a 3-point lead for the Cyclones. Edmondson dances on the dribble and hands off to Webb. And an offensive foul called, or rather a timeout taken by Normal West. Big difference there.
Yeah, that is a big difference. I think Normal West would like to have the basketball, especially at this point. 50 seconds left. Of course, you know, no shot clock here in Illinois. They do have the option to potentially hold for the final shot of the quarter, but the hounding defense from the Cyclones of SHG probably won't let them do that. So nothing else, get yourself an open look, even if you leave a few seconds up on the board. See if you can get this to a 1-point game or tied and finish out the quarter that way. Both teams have played well defensively. Try to take some momentum into the second frame.
Kylan Smith reverses to Webb, and now it's Edmondson. Drives inside and finds an open Smith. And he converts, and Sacred Heart Griffin turns it over.
Wow, what a turn of events right there. Just moving a little bit too quickly. And now not a chance just to tie. Now a chance to take the lead.
Inbounds goes to Zebarth. Wildcats can hold for the final shot of the quarter if they want, but based on this pace, they won't. And the Cyclones force another turnover. It's getting sloppy here these last few seconds. Singleton pulls up from 15. He's off, and Edmondson hauls in the board. He's got 10 seconds. Zebarth, the head fake. Up top, Cherry to the left wing. Edmondson buries the tray just before the buzzer, and Normal West takes a 2-point lead into the second quarter.
Big shot and a big turn of events right there. I mean, you know, it was 10-7 50 seconds ago, and 5 points later in that quick little stretch, a couple of miscues on SHG's part gives Normal West the lead. Again, they're a team that's played with anybody. Kind of looking at their roster, rather their schedule. You know, they've played with, you know, Peoria High, Richwoods, Moline, Lincoln, a lot of really good teams, and fell just kind of short. So when you play in those early season games that you might fall a little bit short, it's going to help you learn and get better. And these are the games that it really comes in handy, playing in these close, tight battles. SHG has had their opportunities. They've forced the turnovers. Just got to start converting a little better on offense.
Heading into the second quarter, Normal West with a 2-point lead over Sacred Heart Griffin, who hasn't lost since its second game of the season. Normal West trying to snap a 4-game losing streak here on their home court. Game number 4 of 5 on the day at the Midwest Crossroads Shootout. Singleton runs the offense. Zach Hawkinson back into the game after taking the last few minutes of the first off. Singleton around the horn into the corner lot. Back up Singleton, pulls up from 15, and an out rebound to Hawkinson, but a foul on the floor is called against the Wildcats.
So you did get the offensive board there, which is good for the Cyclones, but I think they kind of rushed that shot. I like the ball movement, I like the player movement, but I think you can find a better shot than that.
3 from Bryce Musgrove goes down. The Cyclones are back in front.
There's a good shot. Defender didn't step up initially. Let it fly. Trust yourself, and got 3 right there.
Edmondson tripped up in the paint. No call. He's in trouble. And it's a jump ball favoring Normal West.
So it looks like they're going to let them play today, Larry. They're not a quick whistle. I'm sure both these teams want to just keep the game going, but in some instances, maybe a little bit of a quicker whistle is a good thing.
That has been the trend today. The officials have let physicality go, which frankly I like to see that, rather than calling every little thing and right on cue get a foul in the high post as Zebarth tried to post up. 4 team fouls called against SHG, 3 team fouls against West. And the sub not allowed to come in. Now Nate Moore will check in, and Jono Edmondson will kind of hobble to the bench. That's something to keep an eye on for the Wildcats. Edmondson, the starting point guard for the Wildcats. Not a piece that you want to be without. Zebarth, double teamed, then pickpocketed. Musgrove ahead to Singleton, and he gets the acrobatic bucket to go.
In the half court, SHG has been really patient, but running very quickly in transition.
No look pass to Demosthenes, and he capitalizes on the cut to the basket. Back to a 1-point game. Both offenses really settling in now, Gavin.
It does seem that way. Defense was a big presence early, but the offense is starting to find their footing, finding good shots.
Musgrave somehow kept that ball in. Hamilton wide open, and he capitalizes.
I think it's going to start to be more of an offensive game, despite the defensive trend early.
Cherry in the post. What a pass, and no finish from Demosthenes. Hamilton, spin cycle, the dish down low, and the finish on the other end from Ty Lott.
What a burst of scoring we've seen. Just a couple minutes in, there's another 10 points.
Another turnover into the hands of Hamilton. Euro steps, and one. A nifty bucket for Jake Hamilton as he got around Nate Moore.
And SHG really starting to put their foot on the gas pedal. They know how to score in a hurry. They are a very good offensive team, which is why it was surprising to me we saw not a lot of points in the first quarter, but getting back to their typical style of play and putting up a bunch of points in a hurry.
Cherry heads to the bench for the Wildcats. And the old-fashioned 3 is converted by Hamilton. Hamilton up to 6 points for SHG. All of a sudden, the lead is 9 for the Cyclones. Normal West needs a response. Zebarth traveled.
Boy, the turnovers are absolutely killing Normal West right now. Not even getting shots up is just completely detrimental to this game. Got to keep the ball in your own hands. Limit the turnovers. That's been an issue so far, but plenty of time to clean it up. SHG's responding, though, very well and capitalizing on these opportunities.
Javion Bardwell walks it up and hits Hamilton. He's been heating up. Guarded by Camp. Over to Musgrave. Now Bardwell looking for Hamilton in the post. Instead, takes it to the rack himself. The scoop shot is too strong. Zebarth wants to push. Camp from the corner. Too strong. Rebound to Hawkinson. Good ball movement. The triple from Hamilton. Well short. And a foul sends it the other way.
Looks like Normal West is trying to kind of mirror what SHG is doing and getting out quick in transition. Like the pass out to the corner, but again, you got to take good looks. You can't, afford to force things at this point in the game. Really, more patient offense and getting points on the board is better than rushing something and not getting any points at all.
Almost another turnover. And it is a turnover, over and back against the Wildcats. They thought it was a deflection, but that was not the case. The officials are going to congregate to talk about this, and they will call it a deflection.
Might have been right at the last second, Larry. Right as, not really a heads-up play there. Could have let it just go over and back, but deflected it right before it crossed the timeline.
West trying to cut into a 9-point deficit, and they can't. But Camp is fouled on the shot. A little bit of a late whistle there, Gavin, it seemed.
Yeah, a little bit of a late whistle. Definitely looked like there was some contact there, but the way it's been called up to this point, I wouldn't have been shocked with a no call. SHG bench, not exactly thrilled with it, but Normal West with the opportunity. They got to make the free throws. They missed a couple early on, so made the first one there. You need them both.
Gavin Camp, the 5'11" sophomore guard, goes 1 for 2, but Zebarth gets the offensive rebound and spins to the bucket for 2.
That's the bread and butter right there for Max Zebarth. If you can get him in that painted area at the low block, he's so strong and physical. Not many people that can stop him.
Bardwell blocked by Tanner Couples, but a foul call.
Well, same thing we just had on the other end, maybe a bit of a late whistle, and I said earlier, pretty disciplined. They were letting them play, and then ever since, been a few more foul calls, so maybe I shouldn't have brought it up, Larry.
Good old broadcaster's jinx, right? Always seems to sneak in there. Once a broadcast, Bardwell's first shot goes down. Although I will say that usually doesn't happen in reference to the officials.
No,
usually just players.
No, it doesn't. Usually it happens when I'm talking about teams missing or making free throws. Usually when it seems to come into play, but the officials are today's culprit.
Bardwell goes 2 for 2, and the lead is back to 8. Zebarth in the high posts. Almost got that tough shot through the foul, but instead he'll have to earn them.
I know Zebarth is definitely one of their senior leaders. He's definitely one of their best players, but not so sure that, it's best for him to handle the ball and try to create his own shot in the post. Seems better off setting himself up, maybe kind of setting up Camp, the low block, getting fed the ball rather than try to handle it himself. See if maybe they kind of adjust their focus with Zebarth going forward, but he's made an impact on this game so far.
Zebarth leads the Wildcats with 7 points, goes 2 for 2 at the line. Hamilton in the post, fades away, dishes down low, and Cal Johnson is hit by the foul. Second on Zebarth this half, and that takes us to the masked timeout. Gavin, that's tough. 2 fouls on Zebarth, biggest player for Normal West, and as we've seen, he's kind of been the engine of the offense.
That is their biggest player and definitely their most notable name. Of course, Normal West has a bit of a size advantage, so that he is a big part of that reason that they can get inside and score a lot in the painted area. Don't want to have him too bad in foul trouble. 2 fouls, you can live with it, but 3:46 to go in the first half. If he does stay in this game, he's got to play a little less aggressive and definitely not pick up that 3rd foul.
He'll likely spend most of the rest of the first half on the bench. That's a tall order for the rest of the Normal West offense. So with Zebarth out of the game, who do you think steps up maybe?
Well, they have a number of players. I mean, kind of looking at their roster, they've got a good mix of seniors and juniors. They're not a overly young team, so they got a lot of guys that can come in. Looking down their roster here, and they've got some names. I think maybe you start with their guard play a little bit. I think they maybe try to work the perimeter a little more. Zebarth taking the ball inside, so you've got a number of guards. They can shoot from the perimeter. Gavin Camp, one of the lone underclassmen on this team, has fired it from 3 a little bit. Maybe they get him back in there, try to work out the perimeter a little bit more. Perhaps they just stick going inside and try to get to the foul line. Whatever it takes. You're only down 6, so it's not an impossible comeback. You just got to survive about 3 minutes or so without Max Zebarth.
SHG triggers it in. Hamilton gets it into Cal Johnson. It's batted away. A good save by Musgrave as Bardwell chases it down. Hamilton feeds Johnson in the post. He's hounded. Loose ball picked up by Musgrave, and the 3 is off.
Now a chance for a stop and a score. Feels like this would be a big offensive possession for Normal West if they can score, especially with Zebarth out of the game.
Camp showing off the handles, but he's blocked by Hamilton. What a save! And Jamarcus Webb drops it in.
Heads up play right there. Now it's just a 4-point game. Do all the little things. Get those offensive boards. Usually results in a bucket.
Hamilton backs down Camp, but can't get the finish.
Feels like the momentum needle's starting to slowly crawl back to the Normal West side of things. Another score here would feel huge as well.
Kylan Smith looking for options, and Gavin Camp is fouled. Nearly stumbles to the floor there.
Did a nice job maybe selling it a little further to the official.
Never hurts. West now in the bonus. So Camp will shoot the 1-and-1. And the first goes down.
Right on cue, Gavin Camp making a big play since Max Zebarth going out of the game. He took that 3 that obviously got blocked, but looks very much like the Normal West Wildcats want to keep the ball in his hands and run a lot of the offense through him.
Camp goes 2 for 2, and it's a 2-point deficit all of a sudden. The Cyclones led by as many as 9. Entry pass deflected, but a foul called first.
Tough call. Don't know that they love it on the floor, but now we'll get to the 1-and-1 for SHG. 1-and-1 is really got to earn it. You know, you missed that first one. Grab the rebound, so makes him ever more crucial to make these free throws.
Foul on Kylan Smith, his second. Sends Johnson to the line. Gets the straight up bounce. Members bounce, if you will. And West switches out rebounders before the second shot. And Johnson can't convert the second to make it a 2-possession game again. Slunder sets up the offense. Couples gets downhill, dishes back out. 3 from Camp, misses right. Rebound to Ty Lott, and he's fouled by Jamarcus Webb. Gavin, a dramatic change in the pace of this game from the first quarter where the defense put the clamps down to now the second quarter. It seems like the officials have completely changed the way they've called this game. A lot of body contact fouls.
Yeah, personally, I like it to be a little smoother play. You know, you got back and forth action. I'm not a big fan of as many foul calls, but I understand you have to keep a game under control. But yeah, it definitely seems like the pace of play has changed now to a big free throw game, and neither team has been particularly amazing at the stripe. So if free throws become a story, keep an eye on that.
Lott missed the free throw there. Jono Edmondson back into the game for West. He left with a little bit of a ankle injury earlier, but good to see him back in, and Slunder misses the 3. Rebound deflected out off of West.
That's just been a few possessions for Normal West. You know, a chance to, I think they want to get the 3 so bad. They want to get this back to a tight game that they kind of rush a shot. You know, you didn't necessarily need a 3 there, I suppose. Maybe next time try to just find a better open shot. Get yourself a little closer to tying this game.
Singleton double teamed. Gets out of it. Worked around the horn to Lott. Back around to Singleton. Now to the inside to Johnson. Hands off to Jackson. Good ball movement. Results in an open 3 for Bardwell, but he can't capitalize.
What a break there for Normal West. That was an excellent look for the Cyclones. Won't get too many that good.
West with a chance to tie it with a 3. Demosthenes slows it down. And West takes a timeout. Head coach Ed Hafferman taking a full timeout here before the final minute of the half.
Yeah, I like that timeout right there. It's a big possession. Chance to either cut the deficit to 1 or tie. I think that's definitely a big momentum swing, especially, at one point Normal West down 9 points. They really felt like they've controlled these last few minutes and starting to tighten up the defensive end a little bit. They're scoring at a decent clip. But again, a lot of fouls, a lot of back and forth free throw action for both of these teams, unlike a very fast-paced first quarter.
In case you're just joining us, Normal West jumped out to an early 4-0 lead, and since Sacred Heart Griffin took control, and they've had the lead since they came back from that small hole to open the game. They've led by as many as 9, but West has put together a sort of comeback over the last few minutes of quarter number 2. Game number 4 of 5 at the Midwest Crossroads Shootout. Peoria Notre Dame and Yorkville Christian in the nightcap. Coming up next, that game slated to start at 7:30. But for now, we got a good one. And the penultimate contest. Cherry kicks to Slunder. His 3 off the attachment, rebound loose into the hands of Bardwell. Good job by the guard to get down there amongst the trees. Bardwell off balance, can't get the shot to go, but Ty Lott can.
Move down the court quickly, coast to coast. Can't get the first look to go, but the power of the offensive rebound, those extra shots usually result in something good for the offense. Proof right there.
Cherry to Slunder, back out to Edmondson. Wildcats are going to hold for the final shot. Slunder and Edmondson play catch. Now over to Webb. Wildcats with 8. Cherry passes out of the post. Slunder, the 3, got it.
Big time three-pointer right there, and that's where we'll finish off the first half. And Normal West is only down 2, but that shot feels huge. Being down 9 at one point, now cut the deficit to 2. They've taken a lot of momentum to the second half.
Wildcats going into the locker room with momentum, but the Cyclones, have the lead at the break. Good one in the first half. We'll see what the second half brings here in about 10 minutes. Stay with us on Clutch Sports Media. Sacred Heart Griffin leading Normal West by 2. Welcome back inside Normal West, where the host Wildcats trail Sacred Heart Griffin by 2 after 2 quarters of play. Larry Larson, Gavin Russell, and with you from Clutch Sports Media. Glad you're with us. And Gavin, this is shaping up to be a good one. Sacred Heart Griffin led by as many as 9 in the first half before the Wildcats kind of turned on the Jets before the halftime locker room, highlighted by a 3 just before the buzzer from Logan Slunder, and they kept playing better and better as that second quarter went on.
They did, and they did it all without one of their best players, Max Zebarth, who was out those last, I believe, 3:46 with 2 fouls, something to keep an eye on. Zebarth definitely a key senior, but a lot of players stepping up for the Wildcats and keeping this a close game, of course, in the home gym. They definitely have their eyes on the prize, ending a long streak of the SHG Cyclones, who have not lost since November. So they have a big task ahead of them, but it should be a good finish.
Cyclones have won 24 straight. The Wildcats have lost 4 straight. We mentioned it earlier, but might as well mention it again. SHG lost their first 2 games of the season. They haven't lost since. Probably must have learned a lot from those first 2 losses, because boy, are they rolling. And part of that win streak includes a small school boys title at the State Farm Holiday Classic. So they've had some success here in Bloomington Normal. They'll start the second half on defense as Gavin Camp walks it up for West. Camp picked up by Keyshawn Singleton. Camp had a big first half. Sophomore with 6 points, hit a few big shots. Max Zebarth back into the contest in the post. Passes out of it. Deep 3 from Camp is off. Rebound to Ty Lott. He wants to push the pace. Hits an open Singleton, and his triple is off.
Both teams wanting to use the perimeter. A couple of threes opportunities.
Demosthenes blocked by Singleton. Lott, the entry pass to Singleton. Back out. Hawkinson tries the 3, and he got it.
Buries the 3-pointer right there, and big-time shot for the Cyclones to get them on the board in the second half. I'm sure they're looking to jet out to a big lead sooner than later.
The runner is off. That last shot, a 2 from Hawkinson. Foot must have been on the line. And so, the other end, Jordan Cherry can make it a 2-point game once again with 2 made free throws. That will not be the case.
Few missed free throws for Normal West, and I think they'd be a little more comfortable in the home gym, but obviously a high-pressure game. Big situations, definitely maybe a little tougher to make those big free throws. But they're doing a good job getting to the line, though. They'll start falling eventually.
Rebound goes to Zach Hawkinson. Javion Bardwell passes to Hawkinson. He's fouled.
I'm curious to see, Larry, how the fouls go in this second half, because we started the game back and forth, not a lot of fouls. Then we started getting a lot of foul calls and a lot of free throws. See how they continue to call this game.
A lot of contact here to start the second half. Looks like the whistles haven't been blown a whole lot. Loose ball out off of West. Hamilton. Hits Hawkinson, back to Hamilton. Hawkinson in the post. Can't get through Zebarth, but the second try does.
And key to note there, Zebarth probably pulled up off the aggressiveness with the contest, again, with those 2 fouls, so that's something to monitor.
And there's a foul against SHG. So Slunder will inbound to Zebarth. Runner goes down for the big fella.
Great handle on that ball right there and just made it look easy.
Hamilton drives inside and dishes to Lott. A nice assist from Hamilton. Slunder on the other end gets himself to the free throw line. Going back to that Hamilton assist, Gavin, it seems like Hamilton's been in the middle of everything for SHG, standing at 6'3", bit of a post player for an undersized Cyclones team, but really a guy who can do it all.
He can, handling the ball, moving the ball around. I think that's where he's been very key today. He's not even been their biggest shot maker necessarily, but again, finding those open looks, distributing and being very unselfish, that's winning basketball, and it's easy to see why the Cyclones team 24 straight.
Slunder gets both to go. Lead cut down to 4. West has not led since the first quarter. Nearly an and one for Javion Bardwell, and he'll go to the free throw line. Good job by Bardwell to lean into the contact, draw the contact and the foul, and get a high percentage look. And his first free throw gets the friendly roll.
Big time make. Feels like all these free throws in a close game, they feel ever more crucial. Chance to put it up 6. Can't do it, but give him the 2 possessions.
Lott hauls in the rebound, and guess who? Bardwell going back to the free throw line.
I think he wants a little redemption. I think he wants that second free throw back, so a chance to actually make them both here. He can put 3 points on this possession.
Makes the first again. Now redemption at that second. And that time it rolls off the rim again.
Still got 2 points, though.
Better than none, of course. Zebarth looking for options and has one in Slunder. Camp, guarded by Hamilton. Zebarth in the high post, in a little bit of trouble. Slunder trying to get downhill. Camp, a deep 3, in and out. Put back from Cherry, no, and Zebarth called for the over the back. That's 3 on Zebarth.
Boy, that's a tough break for Max Zebarth. He'll have to probably sit down here for quite a while. Got to be a little smarter than that. I noticed a few plays where he wasn't quite as aggressive on defense, but he get called for fouls on offense too. Now they'll have to survive a few minutes without one of their star players.
They did at the end of the first half, and in fact they played pretty darn well. Singleton, mid-range, tough shot, couldn't get it to go. Nice head fake from Bardwell. His mid-range falls short. Look at the speed from Slunder. Passes ahead to Couples. Slunder slows it down. Slunder drives and kicks. Demosthenes. Smith is fouled. That one goes against Bardwell.
Now with Max Zebarth out, they're really trying to move the ball through all 5 guys on the floor for West. Obviously, try to execute on the perimeter a little bit more since you're a little bit of a smaller lineup. Doing a good job, just got to find a good shot.
Kylan Smith draws a foul.
That whistle's starting to pick back up, Larry. It's hard to know sometimes when, pace of play is kind of all over the place. It's hard to know for these players.
Slunder off the inbounds pass. Finishes for 2. Good find from Demosthenes.
Heads-up play right there. Got a couple of teammates in sync. Results in 2 points.
Hamilton feeds Hawkinson in the post, playing with 3 fouls. No problem as the junior drops it in.
Hawkinson really impressed me at the State Farm Holiday Classic back in December, showing how impressive he can be in the paint.
Normal West looking for an answer. They've trailed by 6 for most of this third quarter. Slunder from way downtown is off. Demosthenes dishes down low and a block, but a foul. That one against Hawkinson, or rather Singleton gets charged for that foul. If it was Hawkinson, it would have been his 4th. And after the max timeout, Camp will shoot 2.
That would have been a massive blow if that was Hawkinson. A couple of star big men for both of these teams in foul trouble. Hawkinson avoids that right there, though.
Zebarth not checked into the game yet for West, on the bench with 3 fouls, but West, Gavin, at times has played very well without Zebarth, so it's not an end-all, be-all. They're a team that really likes to focus their offense around the perimeter.
Well, I'm sure the scouting report for SHG says, focus on Max Zebarth. So maybe, when he's not in the game, they don't know how to defend certain guys quite as well. Maybe the way they make adjustments isn't quite the same. Perhaps, too, just the style of play when Max Zebarth isn't on the floor is a little better against the Cyclones. But SHG's done a nice job of making adjustments on the fly. Of course, that's why they have a 6-point lead. But you feel like this is a big set of possessions here in the last 3 minutes or so for Normal West. They just got to keep it close. It's been close all game long, but keep yourself within striking distance. You're never out of the woods as long as it's a close game. Definitely want to try to pull off a big win on the home floor.
I want to thank all our great sponsors here today at the Midwest Crossroads Shootout, the inaugural event. Couldn't be possible without all our sponsors that have been shown on your screen all day long. This game especially brought to you by Couples Construction. Give them a call at the number on your screen over there on the right for all your construction needs. Gavin Camp headed to the stripe, trying to get the host Wildcats back even in this one. Sacred Heart Griffin has led since the first quarter. Camp goes 1 for 2. He's got 7 points. Rebound loose. Bodies all over the floor. Going the other way with the Cyclones. That'll be Singleton to orchestrate the offense. Jake Hamilton over to Bardwell. We've called his name a lot today. He's got 8 points. Kicks out Hamilton. It's a wedgie ball.
Wow, from an interesting angle. Normally you see those maybe on a three-pointer or something, or a pull-up shot, but he went up and under and it got stuck right between the rim and the backboard.
I can honestly say I've never seen that happen on a layup attempt. You see something new every day. That's not new for Cyclones fans, though, and one for Zach Hawkinson.
Well, that feels like a huge bucket right there for the Cyclones. Got a slim lead, but chance to really start to put a firm grasp on this game. A lot of time left, but feels like a big turning point, especially with a made free throw.
And it is not a made free throw, and the rebound goes down to Jamarcus Webb. Trouble on the offensive side for the Wildcats as Couples lost the handle. Smith over to Camp. Sophomore nearly had it poked away. Webb's three, nothing but nylon.
And what
Lead is back down to 4.
And what a response there. I mean, nice job and a foul, and last couple of possessions put a lot of fire under Normal West.
A big sequence for Jamarcus Webb as he takes the charge on the other end. And that's 4 fouls on Zach Hawkinson.
That's big for a number of reasons, including the fouls. Just a 4-point game. Normal West is going to hang around until time expires, but they got to make that move now. See if you can get a bucket here, cut it down to 1 or 2. start to kind of make that move to get yourself in front.
Kylan Smith stuck at the right block. Lobs out to Webb. Smith, the triple, got it. It's a 1-point game.
Here we go. We knew it was going to be a battle, but Normal West making it interesting. They've come to play midway through the second half.
SHG has led since the first quarter, trying to hang on to it. Wildcats are surging. Hamilton passes out of the post. Lott, the response.
A response indeed. And a timeout from SHG. Get the bucket, go back up 4, but certainly they want to play better than they have in these last few possessions. Normal West stormed back, but again, SHG just trying to pull away, haven't been able to do it quite yet.
And that's credit to Normal West, and we've mentioned it time and time again. Foul trouble, a big headline in this one. Zach Hawkinson, the big man for SHG, on the bench with 4 fouls. Max Zebarth has been on the bench with 3 fouls for Normal West for about half of this third quarter, but the Wildcats really haven't batted an eye.
It's been interesting. I mean, of course, Zebarth has made some plays. He's made some things happen, but they almost seem to just play a little bit better against the Cyclones' defense when he's not on the floor. Again, perhaps they just focus so much on Zebarth being in the game, kind of throwing him off when he's not on the floor. So whatever's works, I suppose. Just get yourself in this game, keep yourself in a close battle, and again, try to make that move at some point. This game is a big turning point for Normal West with just a couple of weeks left in the regular season. They've got a tough slate of games coming up in their last 4 or 5 heading into regionals. Definitely want to pick up a big victory here and snap your losing streak.
West has lost 4 in a row. Sacred Heart Griffin has won 24 in a row. Gavin Camp swings it to Slunder. Camp for 3. You bet. 1-point game once more.
The Wildcats are hot. They're feeling it. They're shooting the ball well. We got a back and forth battle.
Bardwell hits Singleton. Back to Bardwell. Lobs into the post for Johnson. Back out 3 from Hamilton. No. Put back. No again from Johnson. Wildcats can take their first lead since the first quarter here.
And a bucket here would get the crowd into it, would get the bench into it. Big momentum shifting possession here for Normal West.
Do you hold for the final shot?
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to commit to this one, Larry.
See how the Wildcats play it. Looks like they're going to go that route. Slunder with it. Guarded closely by Bardwell. Press defense from the Cyclones, making sure that the Wildcats keep it moving around. Kylan Smith in some trouble. Good defense by the Cyclones, and Singleton can't get the shot off before the buzzer. Fantastic defense by SHG at the third quarter buzzer.
On that last possession, I was thinking to myself, you got to at least take care of the ball. Just chuck up a shot, get yourself an opportunity. Didn't take care of the ball, nearly traveled, and then turned the ball over. Not exactly the ideal way to end a big resurgent third quarter. But, hey, you're in a 1-point game. One of your best players hasn't been on the floor. You're doing just about everything right up to this point. It's going to be a close battle all the way.
8 more minutes to go in regulation. It's been a good one. Wouldn't be possible with all the great sponsors shown on your screen right now. Want to give a big shout out to them. Couples Construction, Unit 5, York Public Adjuster Services as well. First State Mortgage, Grant Bellis. Again, the Midwest Crossroads Shootout wouldn't be possible without them. Action Wellness as well. 1-point game going to the fourth quarter. This one could come down to the wire. Normal West looking to snap a 4-game losing streak and snap Sacred Heart Griffin's 24-game win streak that dates back to November. Wildcats in search of their first lead since the first quarter. Max Zebarth back into the game, sets a screen for Camp. Couples in some trouble. Back to Camp. Couples drives inside, off balance, and gets the roll. And just like that, West is back in front.
Big time shot right there. It's a tough take. Rolled around the rim, but you got it to go.
Bardwell looking for the response. Feeds Hamilton. His fader. No dice. Couples gets past the timeline. Open three for Webb. No.
Oof, big time shot right there. Just couldn't get it to go.
Bardwell had the chance for an and one. We'll go to the free throw line with a chance to put the Cyclones back in the driver's seat.
Free throws are crucial from start to finish, but I think now ever more crucial that you make these free throws, at least one of them, to try to get it tied. Gets the first one, and SHG generally not having a problem with making free throws. But again, close battle, a lot of pressure. Who can step up and clutch up, Larry?
Always got to get that one in there. Bardwell goes 2 for 2. Cyclones back in front. Normal West giving them all they can handle here in the second half.
This game really just goes to show what kind of team Normal West is, how their record might be a little bit deceiving, and certainly a team like Normal West, it's going to be a dark horse. Come playoff time, they can beat and play with just about anybody.
Slunder passes it away. He was looking for Gavin Camp, and Camp said, hey, my bad. Cut a little bit too soon.
You're going to have those times where you just get a little out of sync, but again, it's such a close battle. You can't afford to get down too big at this point. A comeback isn't as easy in the late stages of a game. Got to keep it close.
Bardwell feeds Hamilton, and he's fouled. That call there against Camp. His first personal. Cyclones in the bonus. So Hamilton will shoot the 1-and-1. First one rattles in.
7 points for Hamilton, a chance to make it 8. Mentioned earlier, he's been kind of in the middle of everything. Of course, he's been excellent facilitating the ball, but a very serviceable 7 points. And a chance to make it 8 with the next shot. He's one of those big-time players just about each and every night for the Cyclones.
Hamilton can't get the second. Slunder and Camp to the bench. Jordan Cherry back in for the Wildcats. Zebarth drives inside. He's trapped and turns it over. There goes Hamilton. Hamilton on the fast break, and the finger roll puts the Cyclones back ahead by 2 possessions again.
Good take right there, forcing the turnover.
How about another one? Hamilton lays out for it. Scoops it away to his teammates. Bardwell inside. Gets stopped by Zebarth. Wide open 3 from Singleton. Gets the roll from way downtown. Timeout, SHG.
And we'll talk about Hamilton. What can't he do? A lot at the offensive end. Forcing the turnover, gets that all started, laying out for it, putting all the effort into it. And SHG extending out that lead to a huge 7 points.
And really, in a blink of an eye, Gavin, it felt like West had all the momentum going into the fourth, but that's what winning teams do. They can put that behind them just like that. And all of a sudden, here's Sacred Heart Griffin back in control.
That's why I mentioned it's so crucial that you got to keep it close. And it's interesting. I mean, of course, Zebarth has made some great plays, but they just seem a little more uncomfortable when he's been on the floor. You know, he's not been out there for a large majority of this game because of his foul troubles. Of course, you know, he's a senior presence. He's got experience. Again, a little uncomfortable, it seems like. Maybe just hasn't found his footing. Again, having to go to bench with some of those fouls. See if he can kind of pick it up a little bit late. Make a last surge for the Wildcats. 7 points is not too difficult to come back from, but playing a team like SHG, certainly going to be a difficult task.
It is a tall order, but you also got to keep in mind that West's a really good shooting team from the outside, so they can make up that deficit pretty quick. Wildcat basketball out of the timeout. Demosthenes walks it up. Camp back into the contest, guarded by Hamilton. It's been the matchup all night long. Zebarth posts up, goes to work in the paint, slips through, contact, and one.
Well, they can shoot the ball, but they knew who they wanted to go to. Draw up a play there for Max Zebarth. Got him right in the post. Zebarth has had some times where he struggled handling the ball, trying to create his own shot. Right there, just lets his teammate feed it to him in the low post. Muscles it in for the and one.
Can't complete the three-point play, but that bucket gets Zebarth into double figures. He's got 11. 5-point game. Hamilton hands off to Bardwell. Back up top to Hamilton, and the Cyclones are in no rush. Hamilton in isolation, fade away, falls short. Zebarth the board. He'll take it up. Demosthenes into the paint, triple teamed, gets through it, and gets the bucket.
Tough take right there. They got a hand on the ball, so he just had another chance to dribble. That one dribble was all it took. Got up and in.
Bardwell juts ahead and responds with an and one.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Go down to the other end. That time, Bardwell up for the and one opportunity. Tough take.
Bardwell standing at 5'10", not afraid to drive against some of the Wildcats' bigger players, including Zebarth, as well as Tanner Couples. Couples checks out now. That foul called against Jamarcus Webb for West. And Bardwell converts the three-point play. He's got 12 points in the contest for the Cyclones. Timeout, Normal West.
Out of the timeout, whatever they decide to draw up here, we're going to see what Normal West has left in the tank. Of course, plenty of time left to go in this game, but got to think about stamina starts running out. You start getting tired towards the end of the game. What do they have left in the tank? I think they've got a few go-to guys. We'll see if maybe they feed it to them or they just try to move the ball, but either way, this is a big possession. You need a shot here. Try to crawl back into this game. Just down 6, so not impossible.
Gavin, you look at the rosters, and I think you can say that West plays with a little bit of a deeper bench than SHG does. They've ran with a few guys off the bench, but West can play as many as 9 or 10 in their rotation. You think that plays a factor down the stretch, and maybe the strategy, you think maybe West tries to push it?
I do. I mean, I think that at this point they can't let up off the aggressiveness, especially a guy like Zebarth, who has come in and actually made an impact in this game since being out with some of those fouls. He's probably a little more fresh than he normally would be at this stage in the game, having not played as many minutes. So Zebarth should be good. I think they need to continue to just play their game and not go into energy reserve mode. Continue to push the pace. It's your best option to get back into this game.
In case you're just joining us, SHG has had control for most of this one, trailed early in the game, held the lead from the first quarter until this fourth quarter. West took the lead for a brief moment, and now the Cyclones back in control. Zach Hawkinson back into the game with 4 fouls, forces the turnover there. Posts up on Zebarth, going to work, passes to Lott. What an assist from Hawkinson.
Back in and makes an immediate impact. Getting the 4 fouls, but even just one play can do a lot.
Zebarth drives inside, and he's sent away by Singleton. And a foul's called against West. Foul there on Cherry, his second personal. And SHG will go to the free throw line with a chance to go up double digits.
Feel like, of course, 4 minutes to go, and of course a mask timeout left in this fourth quarter. But boy, these 2 free throws could really start to seal it away.
First free throw goes down for Lott. Ty Lott with 14 points. And his second one rolls off. The door is still open for the Wildcats, but it's going to take another comeback. They were at
this point earlier, down 9. They responded, got it closer. Can they do the same thing again?
Zebarth, the spin move, and the finish.
That'll certainly help. Good way to start that out. You're down 7 now. Feels like a crucial possession for a stop in terms of momentum.
Bardwell in no hurry. Picked up by Slunder. Gets downhill, kicks to Hamilton. He drives baseline and draws the foul.
And I think that'll be Zebarth's 4th if they get him for that.
Let's see here, that is called against Camp rather than Zebarth. That's a big call. Only 2 fouls on Camp.
Zebarth looked a little deflated after the initial whistle, but probably a little relieved now that the foul wasn't called on him. Again, a little more leeway with just the 3 fouls.
Hamilton makes them both, and that deficit is back up to 9 for Normal West. That takes us to our final mask timeout. Couldn't come at a better time for the Wildcats.
Yeah, they kind of limped to this mask timeout. Again, SHG kind of started pushing the pace. Some of the shots started falling. I think the biggest thing, though, that they got back to that they were doing earlier in the game, they were forcing turnovers. You know, earlier in the game, we saw them force turnovers, run out in transition, get a lot of their buckets that way. Kind of went away from it or didn't get as many breaks. A couple of forced turnovers pushed out this lead, and 9-point lead. You feel like if it gets up to double digits, Cyclones will really have a firm grasp on this game.
Almost closing time, so to speak, for the Cyclones after the mask timeout. And Gavin, if you're West out of the break, do you play for those threes? Do you really try and cash in those threes, or maybe do you try and get something to go inside to see some shots go in?
You know, normally I would say just try to take, you know, the best shot available, try to just get anything that comes your way. But I think if they tried to work it maybe inside out, maybe get a guy to drive inside, or maybe try to feed it to Zebarth in the post, if you have a guy kind of ready to catch and shoot from the perimeter and that goes in, that is a big churn of events. Again, it would cut it down to just 6 if they could make a 3 here. So I think definitely working the perimeter would be a smart idea. Normal West is a team full of shooters. Be a good time to utilize that.
Game reset for you. Sacred Heart Griffin in the double bonus. They'll shoot 2 free throws for every foul from here on out. Normal West with 2 timeouts remaining. They're in the 1-and-1 bonus. SHG has 2 timeouts remaining as well. Camp steps behind the line. Resets and hits Webb. Into Zebarth, passes out of the post. There's the 3 from Webb, rolls off the rim, rebound loose, still loose. Webb battling for it, almost comes out with it. And Bardwell eventually gets a handle, zips it ahead to Hamilton. And the jam with 2 hands from Hawkinson. Could be the dagger.
What a turn of events. You had the open look for 3. The ball was bouncing around, touched a number of different players' hands. Then you get the big dunk from Hawkinson.
Open 3, short from Slunder. Rebound to Hamilton. Desperation time for Normal West And a timeout is called by SHG. They've got one left.
Boy, a bad break there for Normal West. They really didn't do anything wrong. They're fighting for the loose ball. It's bouncing around. Of course, it'd be a huge offensive rebound. Then the full court pass down to Hawkinson. Throws down the big dunk. Continues to light the fire under the Cyclones, who are looking for number 25 in a row.
It's been a close one at times, but when it's mattered most, the Cyclones have really turned it on, pushing their lead to double figures now. They trailed at one point in this fourth quarter, just by one for a brief moment, but for every big bucket that Normal West has had today, SHG has had a response.
That just shows how many star players, elite-type players, SHG has, guys that can step up in the big moments and make crucial shots.
Singleton passes ahead. Hamilton takes the mid-range, and it comes up short, but Tylott is there. He can't finish, but Zach Hawkinson can. The big junior hitting the big shots. Another turnover, and the Cyclones can really put the ice on this one with a bucket here.
Exactly my thought. A bucket here would almost certainly put it away, and gets fouled, so a couple of free throws. I feel like the 2 free throws here would really start to wrap this one up.
Singleton will go to the free throw line. He got hit hard with SHG up 13 here, minute 52 to go. We can maybe start looking forward to the next game, the final 5th game of the day here at the Midwest Crossroads Shootout. Features Peoria Notre Dame and Yorkville Christian, which features Duke commit Jaden Shute. It's been an attraction all year long. And I do want to point out, as the officials try to take care of some perspiration on the floor, Jonathan Michael, our cameraman, giving you guys a good look at that. My eyes have wandered during the perspiration timeout to Jaden Shute and company standing outside of their locker room. I can't help but notice their warm-up shirts, Gavin, literally have a target on their back. That's a creative touch.
You know, I noticed that when we saw them at the Washington Tournament of Champions. I noticed that same thing. I'm not sure if it was these exact warm-ups of theirs, but I like that. They're a team that likes to shoot the three, especially Jaden Shute. I'm sure we'll see a lot of that tonight.
Second free throw goes down for Singleton. He splits the pair. And it's SHG by 14. Slunder gets the bounce high off the window. And West takes the timeout. Minute 42 remaining. It's going to take a small miracle for them to come back and end SHG's 24-game win streak and end their 4-game losing streak.
I admire the fight, though. I mean, you've got a tall order to face a really good Sacred Heart Griffin team. Again, 24 wins in a row. You think maybe they're bound to lose at some point, but when you're on that type of a roll, everything seems to be clicking. So that's a really tough team to slow down, especially when you're on a losing streak of your own. Want to kind of get out of that slump. But Normal West fought really hard, and again, I don't think that their record is a direct indication of how good they are, because they're a team that's going to fight. They've got a tough schedule down the stretch. I think Metamora is on that. They've got a couple other Peoria area schools to play yet in Big 12 action, but definitely a team that's going to fight. Definitely a dark horse come playoff time.
I would agree, Gavin, because Normal West, usually a 4A school, they're down to 3A this year, whereas Community, they're up in 4A still. So West getting a taste of a little smaller playoff division than they're used to. And they've played a lot of the top 4A teams in the state, so they're going to be battle-tested. Meanwhile, Sacred Heart Griffin in 2A. First free throw rattles in for Keyshawn Singleton. You got to figure that they're going to be a contender as well.
Oh, yeah, in 2A, I mean, of course they're going to play with anybody there, but I think they can play with anybody from any class. You know, 3, 4A, doesn't matter. They're going to put up a fight each and every night, and they are a very skilled team.
Singleton at 12 points to boost the Cyclones. 90 seconds to go. Camp downstairs. Bounce past to Couples. Back to Camp. The triple. Misses left. Rebound to Hamilton. Good ball movement from the Cyclones. That's pretty much all they got to do. And this one is just pass it around.
A little bit of applause from the Cyclone fans traveling over for today's game. Definitely a big win on the host team's court. Never an easy thing to do. Go in and beat an opponent on their floor.
Cyclones going into four corners. They almost turn it over. And Hamilton is fouled by Camp. Stops play, and I think Camp doled out the foul, so West could get some subs in. Handful of them standing at the scorer's table. Got to get everybody some action. Hamilton's first free throw short. Subs will come in. Slunder and Camp to the bench. James Albritton, Jason King, Aiden Garrity, as well as Nate Moore come in for the Wildcats. They'll likely take at least one shot here on this possession. About 30 seconds left.
Camp and Slunder both exit the game, but they're both going to be back next year. Very promising young pieces for this Wildcats group.
The steal and the exclamation point from Keyshawn Singleton on consecutive victory number 25 for Sacred Heart Griffin.
That's a big number and big streak for the Cyclones. I think they'd want to carry that big-time momentum into March.
West can get one more shot in if they want. They'll take it, and it's off, and that's all she wrote. 25 straight wins for Sacred Heart Griffin, and they will head back to Springfield victorious as they improve to 25-2 on the season. Normal West put up a good fight, but they fall to 11-14.
Well, Sacred Heart Griffin is one to play with. Anybody out there, fans in the 2A circuit, they're going to be a very dangerous team come playoff time, so just hope your team doesn't have to face them, because they, up and down the roster, have guys that can make a difference. Of course, we saw late in this game, Zach Hawkinson, despite the foul trouble, came in, had a statement dunk that kind of helped seal this game away. As well as Jake Hamilton made a lot of big plays in this game as well. Normal West, not the result that you wanted, but you played a really good team. You got a few tough games and a chance to get yourself out of the hole come playoff time. Keep your eye on Normal West. They're not going to go down without a fight before their season's over.
Jake Hamilton named the game MVP for Sacred Heart Griffin. Again, they win their 25th straight game, and as Gavin mentioned, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with on the 2A state playoff circuit. We've got about 30 minutes to go before our final game of the day at the Midwest Crossroads Shootout, and it's sure going to be a good one. It's Yorkville Christian, who you see on your screen there, led by Duke signee Jaden Shute, taking on Peoria Notre Dame, led by a cast of strong characters, including Cooper Koch, a sophomore Power 5 recruit. We'll be back here in about 15 minutes or so to get you ready for that matchup. Joey Wright will have the call there. Again, that game slated to get underway in 30 minutes at 7:30 p.m. So for our entire crew for this one, my partner Gavin Russell, Jonathan Michael on camera, Joey Wright at the controls, Josh Schwab, Jacob Steinberg down below on the floor. This is Larry Larson saying so long and good night from me. Stay tuned for the nightcap coming up next on Clutch Sports Media.